What's going on, everybody? Thoughts of the week. Welcome back. This is podcast 51. And we're going to get right into it. All right. So, as you guys know, for those who don't know, there's been a lot of shootings going on. And the most recent one was in Ohio. All right. The recent one was in Ohio. They had one in El Paso. There was one in California. And there was some shootings that happened in Brooklyn prior to the other three. And the topic for today is America's dormant sleeper cells. America's dormant sleeper cells. All right. Do we have sleeper cells in this country? I remember that some time ago when what's going on, Shannon? Thanks for coming in. I remember a while back, a few years back, when the topic was the situation with when they were saying Muslims and terrorist cells from like overseas, but it's looking more and more like we have American dormant sleeper cells that have become awakened, right? And so I just wanted to talk about these mass shootings and add some insight to some things you might not know, some things you may know. All right. Now, when it comes to the situation in Brooklyn, New York, supposedly from the articles I've been reading, they were saying that the connection may involve gang members. Let me see here. They said in one article it was 12 people struck by gunfire in the at a Brooklyn park. All right, that was Brooklyn, New York. All right. The article I'm looking at is July 29th, so I don't know. It might have been that recent. I'm trying to make sure that. Trying to see how far back it was. But again, do we have sleeper cells in this country? Domestic American sleeper cells. And it's so interesting how we're getting closer and closer to the choosing of the president again, and the circus that's going on with the debates. And then all of a sudden these shootings pop up. Like I said, just coincidence, right? Kind of interesting as far as the timing goes, put it that way, right? So let me see here. Again, what I read about the Brooklyn shooting, it was trying to say that it may have been involving some gang members, supposedly. Right? Trying to find I'm on the article, but I'm trying to see what else they put in here. The event local. Let's see. The tragedy does not define Brownsville. This happened in Brownsville, by the way. Chief of Detectives Dormant said everyone involved is believed to have some gang history or tie. He did not divulge a possible motive. All right. Authorities believe no less than 2 shooters and 2 guns were involved in the attack. NYPD Deputy Chief Michael Kemper said, but no arrests have been made. So, I guess since this July 29th article, unless you guys know more or any further than that, supposedly there were no arrests made in regards to that. So it's not much detail. And then we have the Gilroy Garlic shooting. This guy in Santino, Legan, 19-year-old. If you should be seeing what I have going in rotation are the pictures of these shooters, minus the Brooklyn shooter or shooters. And there's this one picture that I have up here of Connor Betts, and then there's a picture right beside him. When I was looking up the pictures, I don't know if this is supposed to be in. When you guys look at the pictures as they rotate, you'll see the one of Connor Betts. There's one that is with his sister. He apparently shot his sister. I don't know what that was about. And one thought did come to my mind is I wonder, and we won't know at all, but I wonder if he put her up to wanting to shoot with him, and who knows, maybe she refused. These are all just speculation, so I don't want to get everybody all riled up. Or maybe she didn't want to do anything at all, so she didn't want to get involved, so maybe he ended up shooting her. Who knows? But there's a picture in there of Connor Betts, and then there's another picture right beside him. And as you guys watch the rotation of the photo slides, and I don't know, they was trying to, if that was like an earlier picture of this dude or what, but I don't know if it 100% looks like him. But that was the picture that was rotating in the news and on the internet. And then I'm looking at on the internet right now, somebody posted on a website, on a news website, a picture and the name Patrick Crusius is on one. It's like one picture, but it has 2 different, supposed to be 2 different people. One is supposed to be of Santino Legan, and then the other is supposed to be Patrick Crusius, and they have similar looks. I don't know if these supposed to be actually them and it was their younger looking selves, or they're just putting these pictures up to try to throw everybody off and keep the scent off of these sleeper cell participants. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. And so in the Texas, let me pull that article up here. Let me see if I can find that. And as you guys know, that El Paso prosecutors are looking to seek the death penalty on the Patrick, I believe it was Patrick Crusius. And I find that kind of interesting how they really pushing hard for that. And again, it just seems the timing of everything seems kind of interesting how people are in the government, if you want to use that, on one side, people are doing a lot of caping for the immigrants coming across the border, and then all of a sudden these shootings go down, right? and they're really pushing hard and making a big thing about really broadcasting this death penalty issue. But I wonder what you guys think as far as if they're going to go through with that or not, or will they be able to or not, given the racial makeup of the Patrick Crusius. So you guys think he's gonna, or you think the prosecutors are gonna be able to pursue that, let alone it happening, and how long you think it will be before it really goes down to a full completion? Right? Because again, we're talking about the history of when, and let's keep it real, when you got white males doing things, they really have a tendency to brush things to the side and give the impressions of slapping on the hand with these guys. Dylan Ruth comes to mind. I think they took him to Burger King or something like that. And then kind of things subside. Another thing I thought about was, remember the dude at the Batman, they call him the Batman shooter in the movie theater? You don't hear too much about what's going on with him anymore. It's like they try to hurry up and brush this down and brush it to the side so that it keeps them off of your minds so you can focus on other things that they put out there in the media. Right? So let's see here. And I think they said the death toll has risen in El Paso to 22. I don't know what the status is on the Dayton, Ohio. I know there were some people injured, but we don't know if the injuries have gotten worse or improved in Ohio. But, doing my runs and researching and checking around the internet, I come across the some interesting information that you guys may know, and it might slowly start getting out. It's about the Dayton, Ohio shooter, reportedly suspended from high school for writing a hit list on a wall at one time. Of course, he was 24 when this happened. The shooting happened. But apparently he had some issues in high school. And so I'm going to read this article real quick. And it says Connor Betts. This is from slate.com, by the way. You guys can check it out. Connor Betts, a 24-year-old from Bellbrook, a suburb of Dayton, Ohio, has been identified as the gunman who opened fire early Sunday morning in the heart of a Dayton nightlife district and killed 9 people, including his 22-year-old sister, Megan. Betts was killed by police shortly after the shooting. When authorities in Ohio confirmed the identity of the shooter, some who went to high school with him were not surprised. So once his identity came out, there were some people that went to high school with him, and they was like, oh, we're not surprised about dude. Right? A former classmate, for example, said she quickly thought of Betts as soon as she heard about the shooting. Imagine that. Why? He was reportedly suspended for causing a lockdown after he wrote a hit list on a bathroom wall. I know he made the list, she said. All right. This is a former classmate. She said, I know he made the list. I'm not sure who the names were on there. He had a plan to shoot up the school. Now, my thing is, you knew that, and it doesn't. I'll read further because this is my first time reading the article. I knew of the article, I just hadn't read it, and I wanted to read it live and kind of go over it. But and maybe they will answer what I'm getting ready to say right now, and maybe it won't. But if you knew this about this dude, why did anybody say anything? And or maybe they did. Maybe, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna read this and see what happens, see what they say in here. But it just makes me think, okay, you have these former classmates saying, yeah, I knew it was him. I figured it was him. I'm not even surprised when I found out it was him. And then all of a sudden, one of the classmates, a female, was like, yeah, as soon as I heard about the shooting, I quickly thought about Connor Betts. So as soon as this went down, she was like, boom. So my thing is, how close of a classmate were you to him? Did you know more of what he planned to do in regards to this recent shooting? And if so, they need to be questioned. And we don't know if they're accomplices or not. Right? So to read on, it says, again, I know he made the list, she said. I'm not sure who the names were on there. He had a plan to shoot up the school. When asked about the list, Chris Baker, who until recently was principal of Bellbrook High School, remember that name, Chris Baker, apparently was the principal at one time, or maybe still is, who until recently was principal of the Bellbrook High School, pretty much confirmed the information, even though he refused to get into details. I would not dispute that information, he said, Chris Baker said, but I don't want to get involved any more than just making that comment. Why don't you want to get involved, Chris Baker? Betts had enrolled at Sinclair Community College and studied psychology, but was not enrolled this summer. A background check on Betts revealed only 2 speeding tickets in 2013 and 2014, and no concealed weapons permits. A LinkedIn profile appearing to belong to Betts, which has since been taken down, listed him as an employee of Chipotle Mexican Grill. In his profile, Betts described himself as, quote, good under pressure, fast learner, eager to overachieve, unquote. Brad Howard, who said he knew Betts for almost 20 years, described him as a nice kid who kept to himself. The Connor Betts that I talked to, I always got along with well, he said. Yeah, okay. Law enforcement officials executed a search warrant at what appears to be Betts' family home in Bellbrook Sunday morning. Bellbrook Police Chief Doug Doherty said the family is being treated as victims and we're being very careful and cautious with them and respecting their wishes as we move forward. Let's see what else we got here. This family is also dealing with. Okay. And that's pretty much it on that article. So there's some questions about that. You have some people that when they heard about it and then when his name came out, they weren't surprised that, this dude, yeah, I'm not surprised about him because, he was like this already. And nothing has come out yet. But I wonder if this guy was put on any law enforcement's radar during that time. And what was the hit list about? Who were the names on the hit list? On this wall, I think they said it was in the bathroom wall that he wrote names. Who were they? Why were they on his hit list? For what reasons? So I'm sure more stuff will start coming out about him. Maybe. As they slowly do a lot of times down the road. As they slowly do. Let me see here about the I'm trying to get information for El Paso. I'm gonna have to pull this up here real quick. Again, with El Paso, they're seeking the death penalty on the dude. Of course, their death toll rise to 22. Let me just get this to pull up here. It says key points. 2 more people die of injuries sustained at the El Paso mass shooting, raising the death toll from that massacre to 22. In all, 31 were killed in back-to-back shootings in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio, renewing the debate about gun violence. Okay, we're back to that debate again. That's another thing. The gun violence debate. And I was telling somebody yesterday, I don't know if they're going to do anything about this gun issues, because you still have to deal with the NRA, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't have to. But you still going to have I want to put it this way. I wonder what the NRA members, anybody who's a member in NRA, what they have to say about these shootings. Because they still going to cape for having the guns regardless. No matter who gets shot up, it's just like they have their blinders completely on, no matter what. Not a solution, nothing. They're still going to cape for those guns under all costs. Lobby for them. No matter who gets killed, they're going to cape for them. And again, my question is, are there American sleeper cells? American dormant sleeper cells that have been awakened? All right. Have they been awakened? What I can definitely would like to tell everybody, though, is that if you're paying attention to these incidents, they should definitely wake you up. And if you're still asleep, I'm only sorry for you, because you should be seeing a clear message now. And then pay attention more to how things develop and what gets done and what doesn't get done. And maybe that should wake you up a little bit more as well. All right. So here's my suggestions. I'm just going to go over them real quick. If you guys want to, I'll say this. If you guys want to learn anything about personal protection, you can go to surviveandprotectonline.com. surviveandprotectonline.com. Yesterday I did a video. You guys can go to the Facebook page, Survive and Protect, or you can go to the YouTube channel, Survive and Protect, and maybe there'll be something on the Instagram page of the same name. But those, the YouTube and Facebook channel / page, I done a live video yesterday giving some tips. And I actually went to a Walmart. I had to go to Walmart anyway, so I figured I'd do a live and give you guys a breakdown of what you can do to stay safe in the event that something like this would have happened again. So I kind of gave some live commentary, some live tips on how to protect yourself, because it makes no sense every year something like this seems like way more. We all know way more than one happens, but you can almost guarantee that every year something like this is going to happen somewhere. And it makes no sense for all these people dying like that. So it's important for y'all to learn how to protect yourselves, and be honest with you. Your personal protection is your responsibility. All right. Because police can't be everywhere. And that's just facts. They just happened to luck out to be at the Dayton, Ohio spot, and were there supposedly in less than a minute where they can stop the dude, but still people were killed. And maybe if they took certain precautions, there probably would have been less killed than there were. So it's up to you. I'm not trying to force anything on you. You can still choose not to be responsible for your own personal security, your own personal protection. This is why I started putting up these videos to begin with on those particular pages and channels, because I've been seeing too much go down, watching the news and stuff like that. And every time something happens, it's really pretty much the same thing. So if you want to learn about protecting yourself, you can go to those channels. If you like, if you don't, that's fine too. But I'm still going to continue making personal protection videos as well. And let me see here. So keep this in mind, that question again is Americans, is there American domestic sleeper cells that are dormant and awakening in this country? You think about the question, and you can decide on if it is or if it isn't. But I suggest that you definitely take precautions on protecting yourself at all costs. All right. This does not appear that this is going to stop. It might die down for a minute. It might come to a little lull for a little while, and then it's going to pop back up again somewhere sooner or later. So again, you guys, be safe out there, and keep in mind that your personal protection is your responsibility. All right. So if there are any other updates, I might come back. Other than that, I'm gonna keep my eyes out on what's going on. And before I get out of here, I want to say this: be aware, watch the hands, and have a plan. All right. So with that being said, thoughts of the week. I'm out. Peace.